It hasn't been up to 60 days since the swearing-in of President Buhari. However, Nigerians have taken to social and traditional media to voice their opinions and concerns regarding the pace Mr. President has used in enacting change. With me today is a founding member of the All Progressive Congress and key stakeholder of the party. He's here to discuss national issues and the way forward for the All Progressive Congress. Stay tuned to find out who my guest is. My name is Osasu. Welcome to today's episode.
If you don't check corruption, there is no way you can make any meaningful leap in life.
We talk about the stomach infrastructure policy.
Stomach infrastructure is simply about the welfare of the people, coming to the level of the people.
And the mere fact that you are a minister does not make it to be criminal. No court of law has convicted them.
Welcome back to the Osasu Show. With me today is the chairman of the All Progressive Congress and first executive governor of my state, Edo State. You're welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, my pleasure.
First of all, congratulations for the victory of the All Progressive Congress at the presidential polls.
Thank you.
The All Progressive Congress was the first party to democratically overthrow an incumbent president. Can you walk us through how you were able to achieve this victory?
I think the first stage was the realization and recognition by the major opposition parties that the nation was going nowhere. In fact, that the nation was headed for the rocks. So it became necessary for true patriots, those who truly love the country and think that the people of the nation deserve choice, to come together. It was clear that as regional parties, the ACN, mainly, majorly in the Southwest, the NPP, majorly in the North, the CPC, North, the ABGA or fractions of it, Southeast, and that as regional parties, there was no chance for any of individually taking on the monstrous PDP. But coming together, it was clear that immediately creates an alternative national platform. So first thing, were we ready to make the sacrifice in the interests of the nation? And the answer to that was yes. So disparate parties were able to come together, were able to give up their individual interests and form one single national entity called the APC. That was stage number one. Of course, we had all sorts of issues, all sorts of problems. We will be registered, we will be recognized by INEC, but we plan things carefully with the law in mind at every stage. And we left nobody with any excuse not to have the APC officially registered and recognized. That was stage one, successfully completed. So we took a deep breath. Yes, now we are a party. We have a monster in government. How do we get rid of them? Simple, go to the people. So we then devised one of the most comprehensive surveys that probably any political party has undertaken. We went to town asking the people of every part of this nation, what do you people really want? What do you want of a government? What kind of changes do you want? What are your ailments? What are your complaints? What are your ills? In what areas would you want any government to concentrate to address your issues? And it was a most revealing exercise where we thought security would be the issue if our people were saying they want jobs. So let's summarize. They wanted jobs. That hit the top of the list. They wanted security. They wanted power, agriculture, education, and so on in that area. But these three were the main. There were 6, basically, areas of concentration from the people not from the political party, sitting together in a little conference room and deciding what they think is best for the people. This now was a survey carried out to elicit what the people themselves wanted. So we had that in the back. The third leg, the main legs now, the third leg was, what do the people expect of a political party? We knew the people were tired of imposition. We knew they were tired of impunity. They wanted a breath of fresh air. So as a matter of design, as a matter of policy, the new leadership, when I came on board, decided that everything in the party, to the greatest extent possible, must be above board. Let the people themselves see that they are participants in the process of generating who governs them. And so we ensured that to the greatest extent possible, all our primaries, all our selective processes, and the rest of it were done in full public glare and above board. So we had very little recriminations all the way down to the top. And when finally we had the presidential primaries in Lagos, it was clearly a showpiece. And to our great surprise, the entire world was watching. And that thing took, well, all of 2 days, meticulously, in full public glare. I think that was a clincher. At that point, the people of this nation, you could hear them heave a collective sigh of relief. Yes, we finally have a party that can take on the PDP. And it was downhill. The rest, as this
is history, right? Oh, that's amazing. So with that being said, you must be really disappointed by the current crisis that is rocking your party, the All Progressive Congress, which is stemming from the National Assembly. I know about very recently you responded to some allegations that were made against you in the media that you were in support of one candidate, over the other. So what do you have to respond to that, and how do you intend to realign your party for a common goal, which is the Nigerian people?
Well, disappointed, you use the word. Yes, I cannot hide the fact that, it was a bit of a setback, unexpected. Though expected, because things had gone so well that I thought it would be one whole ball game all the way. But maybe we needed that little bit of a hiccup to show us that it was not yet Eureka. When you try to put people together with disparate interests, ambitions, and the rest, at one stage or the other, there's bound to be that grating
disconnect,
that grating feeling, that clash of interests, when everybody now begins to want to assert authority, control, and things like that. And that precisely is, that's precisely what happened, sorry. We should have expected it. But I didn't think it would be quite as bad as it became. But those are parts of the growing pains that we have to suffer. When I was talking about the groups that came together, of course, forgot to mention that at a certain stage we had 5 PDP governors, which was quite an important shot of adrenaline into the young party. 5 PDP governors joining the fold, who also had interests and expectations. I think these are the things that finally came to a head in the National Assembly, and the party has taken a position. The party is insisting on discipline. The party is insisting on supremacy of the party, but at the same time taking into consideration the fact that this is an independent arm of the tripod of government. So their feelings, their expectations must also be taken into consideration. But let me make this very clear. At no stage did we dictate to them. We always provided a platform for they themselves, the members-elect, senators-elect, to indicate their preference for leadership. That was all the party did at every stage. But I think we're on top of that issue, and we hope it will go there. Yes. In fact, the accusations against me were, in a sense, the greatest vindication. There were two major power blocks that manifested, interest groups. I may not call them power blocks. A said I was favoring B. B said I was favoring A. Then I said, hooray. That shows that I have placed myself four square in the middle, not allowing either.
So if the party doesn't have a direct influence over the legislative arm of government, how come the party held a primary election which produced Senator Lawan as the primary sole candidate?
Like I said,
Senate.
the party provided the platform only for the senators and the members-elect themselves. They were the only ones voting. No member of the party was voting was involved. Yes. Why? Simple commonsensical reason. In the Senate, we have 59 members. We should have 60. We lost one to death. And the PDP, the opposition party, had 49. So it was clear that if we went with two aspirants, candidates for the post, for any position, if there is any split whatsoever, and there will be a split on our side if the APC goes with two candidates for President of the Senate or Speaker of the House, for that matter. So it was in our interest to organize that straw poll for the senators elect themselves to indicate who, one person, that they themselves want to be their leader, because of the realities of the numbers in the Senate. That was the only thing that we did, nothing else. So unfortunately, because ambitions have become so entrenched, excessively entrenched, if I may use that word, we had two opportunities to do the straw poll. The first time, one of the contending groups, walked out. Ostensibly, again, I'm just reading what my own personal reading of the situation, because they foresaw that they may lose out in the straw poll. Unfortunately, the second time that produced Lawan, maybe the other side also saw that they stood a chance of losing out, and they too did not appear. But that time, we had only about a day or two to the convening of the assembly, and so we could not afford to shift anyone. We did it, and the majority at that point indicated a preference for Lawan. End of story.
I know Mr. President and other top leaders of the All Progressive Congress have used the word indiscipline quite a number of times. When I hear indiscipline, I think about maybe a little child, when we have to discipline these leaders and make them fall back into line. So what is this? What does that entail? What does disciplining these leaders who went against the party, what does that entail?
Well, disciplining them. Oh, well, it means a lot of things, but that's not something for political spanking. Yes, political spanking, that is not, nothing is ruled out at the end of the day. If persons that were promoted, so to speak, by the party turn against the party, then if they persist, something, of course, just has to be. There must be consequences. Okay. There must be consequences. Otherwise, no organization can survive. If anybody can do just precisely what he likes about anything, everybody's opinion becomes the. If you don't do what I like, then no. You can't have that. You can't have that. There must be consequences.
I agree with you, sir. Let's take a short break, and we'll be right back on the Osasu Show. Welcome back to the Osasu show. Before we went on break, we talked about the current issues facing the All Progressive Congress stemming from the National Assembly and how they were able to succeed at the presidential polls in March 28, 2015. We still have the APC chairman, Chief John Oyegun. Thank you for sitting tight with us, sir. Sir, we want to expand right now to Nigeria at large. So President Muhammadu Buhari has been termed, according to Bloomberg, as Baba Go Slow on social media, which means that the pace he's currently enacting change at is quite slow and unexpected from those who elected him into office. So what can we expect from Mr. President in the coming months before he reaches 100 days in office?
Well, I'm sorry about that tag. I think it's terribly undeserved. I can understand because the people of this nation have suffered for so long. And President Buhari has such a reputation for uprightness and the rest of it that, well, okay, maybe one will acknowledge that people thought that he had a bit of magic to him, and that once he came into office, he flicked switch one, he pressed to everything starts being corrected, but that is not reality. The situation that he took over, that the APC took over, has turned out to be a lot worse than we, in our worst imaginations, ever expected. That is point number one. Point number two is that the expectations of the public in terms of the kind of persons that they don't need to see in governance is so high that even he, with all his prestige and cult followership, has to be careful about who he appoints, even to be the cleaner in the villa. So, yes, it may look slow, but before you do any project, you have to plan. He needs to plan. We had a very short transition period, that is between the elections. It should have been 3 months, but he did not have 3 months. But in spite of that, you can see the changes are gradually coming in. You can see that, take the international arena where we were almost reduced to pariah status. Today, the status of Nigeria in the world arena has changed. He hit the ground running as far as reconnecting Nigeria with the international community as a credible nation with which people can do business.
I want to elaborate on the insurgency issues. You said President Muhammadu Buhari has actually taken great strides in annihilating Boko Haram. However, to our viewers, our daily viewers who are on the streets, market men, market women, even the elite, entrepreneurs and politicians, they might not agree with you. They might actually say that the bombings are actually more frequent because now we heard about a bombing in Kaduna. Kaduna is usually, not a place that we usually hear about a lot of bombings, but now we've heard about bombings in Kaduna and, all of these other places. NEMA, the National Emergency Management Agency, has reported over 1,000 casualties from May, when President Buhari was sworn in, till today in July. So how is he making strides and, can this be a thing of the past? Can Mr. President defeat this insurgency issue that we have been experiencing for 6 years?
He is defeating the insurgency. Maybe I need to put what I said a little bit more clearly. Before Buhari, the insurgents were controlling, governing, ruling Nigerian territory that was larger than most European countries. So they did not bother about the bombing aspect because they had territory. They were ruling Nigerians. That is the extremist point. they have been deprived of that. So what I said, it's very unfortunate, it's very tragic, and that too must stop in short order, is that they have moved from seeking to hold territory to this process of suicide bombing. And let's face it, I don't want to sound, may I not sound cold-blooded, but let's look at it this way. Somebody is dressed normally, walks into a marketplace, dressed normally, he walks into a marketplace, walks into a church, or walks into any other gathering of people, determined to kill himself or herself and kill others. It is the most difficult thing to contain in the immediate term. But the government is working very intensively to match this change of tactics by Boko Haram. Don't forget, they started by bombing. Then when they saw that they could hold territory, they shifted to wanting to create, so to speak, their own country within a country. That has been the movement. But now that they have been contained and driven out of holding territory, they have now gone back to the original tactics that they started with. And that is where the new confrontation is. And that we rely intensively on intelligence. We rely intensively on trying to debrief minds. I don't know what they do to these young people to make them want to kill themselves and kill others. The reality is that if somebody makes up his mind to die, then we do have a problem on our hands. But that problem too is the one that is now being confronted by the Buhari administration. It requires a totally new tactics. When Buhari came into office, he moved the command for the insurgents that was taken, moved them straight away, provisioned the troops, which is still going on. They are still provisioning the troops, created the inspirational platform because the troops need to believe that they have a commander-in-chief that cares. He did all of that. He was able in short order to inspire the troops in the field. And they drove Boko Haram virtually out of holding territory. Now we have to confront this new menace. And I want to assure you, it will be confronted and defeated.
Okay, sir. And lastly, because we're running out of time, can you just briefly walk us through the blueprint plan for Mr. President and the All Progressive Congress on enacting change that was promised to Nigerians?
We expect the government to be in place in another few weeks. And I want to assure you, when they do, they will hit the ground running. We had a very comprehensive preparation when the president set up his transition committee, which fortunately was able to look at both the manifesto of the APC and some of the realities that we met on the ground. And we mapped out definite areas of immediate, medium-term, and long-term issues that need to be addressed. And the immediate ones are things that will give results in a few months, a couple of months, 3 months, in areas where the people are truly hurting. In the power area, there are immediate things that you can do to restore sanity to the power sector. In the area of the main resource of this country, crude, NNPC, and the rest of it, there are immediate things that can be done to ameliorate the pains of the people of this country, and so on and so forth. So the planning has been done. We are now waiting for the implementers to be in place.
Thank you so much for joining us, sir. We hope you will exceed when next we call on you to appear on the Osasu Show.
Any day, anytime.
Thank you so much. Do join us same time next week when we have another interesting guest. Don't forget to follow us on social media at the Osasu Show on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can visit our website, www.theosasushow.com, for current affairs news. For me, it is bye for now, and until next time, do take very good care of yourself.